Well, it's going to be the Darwin's theory. It's going to be the survival of the fittest sort of a thing.
Do you think they're integrating into society? Or like you said, they're kind of staying to themselves, going to their own schools, maybe not trying to learn the American culture. Do you think that's a problem at all? What, you got like a green card to move here? How'd that work?
No, I don't H1B.
Your H1B?
Yeah.
South African, Afrikaners, for example,
Yeah.
or the Hindus from India? Who's more likely to assimilate to America?
Absolutely, South African Afrikaners will.
It's day 2 here in Texas. It's actually April 1st. So it's April Fool's Day, and they're doing the Artemis 2 launch today on April Fool's Day. So they're fucking laughing at you. And the commander's actually Jewish. A black person's a pilot. So even in space, the Jew commands the black. It's kind of funny. Anyone who believes that, you're a fucking. But I digress. Day 2 here in Dallas, Texas. Just did some interviews back at Costco. We met 2 pretty based Aryan Chads. Now we're at the 99 Ranch Market. I guess an Asian market here. All the Asians come and do their shopping. You can see outside, there are Asians. There's not too many Indians. We saw a few. We're gonna, ask some of these people, preferably some Indians and Muslims, why are you here? How'd you get here? What kind of job do you do? How many family members did you bring? How many restaurants do you own? And which Hindu temple do you go to so we could come join you? And which god's your favorite? Vishnu, Ganesh, or one of the other 5 demons? But let's go try to hunt someone down. What's your name?
Ian.
We're in Dallas right now. We're in Frisco at this Costco. I just kind of wanted to ask you, did you grow up in this area?
No, I'm from Houston.
Oh, you're from Houston?
Yeah, I moved up here for work.
Okay, how long ago?
4 years ago or so.
Oh, even from 4 years ago to now, have you seen any significant changes in Texas?
Oh, it's insane. No, this area has blown up quite drastically over the last few months. I feel like Texas is going to be in Oklahoma pretty soon.
Do you think it's for the better or for the worse?
I don't know, it's hard to say because the locals here aren't liking how much migration is coming to Dallas. I think it's a lot to do with California prices. It's pretty hard in other states to live, so I think it's there's pros and cons. I think there's a lot to do with technology and finances here, so it's why all these people are flocking here.
What's your name?
My name is Dean.
You said you're from South Africa, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Is this your first time in Dallas?
No, I've been here for 3 years.
You've been here for 3 years.
Yeah.
You've lived here for 3 years. How much has Dallas changed from 3 years ago to now?
It has changed quite a bit. I think just demographically, there's been a lot of change. I actually visited here about 10 years, 12 years ago for the first time. It's changed a lot since then, yeah.
It's probably a whole nother world nowadays, right?
Totally, yeah, absolutely.
What about some of the new migration? Maybe not even from the U.S., maybe some from India, or they're coming from, Muslim countries. Like we obviously see a mosque over there.
Right, yeah.
There's a bunch of Hindu temples. They're trying to build the epic city that just got shut down.
The epic city is kind of crazy to me. I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy with that, especially a segregated city only for a type of population. It's self-segregated, but honestly, I'm okay with and happy with all the migration, all the different cultures and food mixing, but as long as it, doesn't affect and hurt other people, I'm happy with it.
When you say demographically, are you talking about specific people in particular?
Yeah, different people groups. That's obviously changed a lot. People moving in from other states, other countries. A lot of South Africans moving in.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I haven't seen too many of those, but I have seen a lot of Indians or Muslims, things like that. Do you think that changes for the better or worse? Neutral?
I think people need to assimilate. If they get here, they need to assimilate to the culture, firstly, and obviously religious-wise as well. I'm not saying you must lose your own culture, but you can't come as an outsider and bring, things that are not acceptable, So I think this is predominantly a Christian country. I think you need to at least respect that. I don't think everyone coming over will become Christian, but they need to respect the fact that this is a Christian country.
Where are you from?
India,
You're from India. How long ago did you come to Dallas, Texas?
about 10 years ago.
10 years ago. From 10 years ago to now, how much has the, demographics changed of Dallas?
Shoot, it has changed quite a bit. Yeah, there's a lot more people around here. This used to be farms and lands. I think I spent some time only for about a couple of weeks around in this neighborhood of the town back in 2013. And none of this was around. So it has changed quite a bit, for sure, with a lot of the companies moving around.
Okay, so we're heading into the market. We're gonna see the demographics in here. I mean, this is the Asian market, so I guess it's a little unfair, but still,
Why is this even here?
Yeah, no, exactly. Why the fuck is it here? So, and we're going out the wrong way because I assume they're In their country, they go out in the left side. Like, I'm not even kidding. There's no in or out for a reason, right? It smells like... No candy? Dude, why does it smell? What even is that? It's like fish, but it's like a fishy fish. What the fuck kind of fish is that? Okay, let's do a white person counter. 0 so far, except me and you, obviously. 2, I guess. Dumpling Express. Yeah, it is a little dead. I mean, it's like 4 on a Wednesday, so. Okay. Korean Mexican food. Is that a white person? Dude, we just saw some like Asian wigger, bro. What the fuck? Oh, I've never seen that. That's like from the, which movie is it from? Do you know what I'm talking about? The Asian wigger? Like a, whatever. It's like a Bobby Lee type, you know? Okay, I saw 1 white person, or 2. Was that a white couple, maybe? Oh, 3 white people. Okay, I guess. Oop. It's like 3 white people so far. The rest, I think, Chinese, Vietnamese, Thai. There's a white family. Apparently, the guy told us that we should go here, the one we met at Costco. He said this is like the Indian spot, but I guess the Indians aren't out yet or something. I don't know. They're praying, it's prayer time. But we'll try to go find some because I guess we could ask the Vietnamese, but it's not really the issue here in Dallas. I'm sure there's a decent amount of them, but it's more the Indians and Muslims. Yeah, let's go find them. How long have you been in Dallas, Texas for?
5 years.
5 years. And when you moved here, you moved from where?
Moved from California.
Oh, you moved from California?
Yeah, like 2 years.
Were you born in California?
No, we were in California for 2 years, but we moved from India like 7 years ago.
Who is we? How many of you? Just you and your family?
Yeah, me and my wife.
You and your wife and your kid?
And my kid, yeah.
What made you come to the U.S.?
So for a job, like I worked for an IT company and then got a software engineering job here, so I just moved here.
So what, you got like a green card to move here? How did that work?
No, I had a H1B.
Your H1B?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it mostly Indian migration? I know there's like Muslim migration as well. Like I know Epic City, if you heard about that, like the Muslim-only town they wanted to build that got shut down. I know temples are popping up everywhere. So is it a lot of Indian migration in Dallas specifically? And why is it that a lot of Indians want to come to Dallas?
Dude, I don't think so I have a good answer for you. But I know a lot of the migration that has brought influx into the city here is because a lot of the companies have moved around here.
So it's Indians working for the companies?
Most likely.
What about like the new ones coming from India? Are they getting like jobs? How are they like getting into it? Do you know at all?
I mean, I don't think so. You would have folks here if there weren't any job opportunities.
Okay.
So if employer brings them here, might be the only reason why they are here.
Let's use Indians for this example. Do you think they actually integrate into the American culture, or do they kind of stay to themselves? You know, they go to their temples, they build their own spots to eat at, they kind of stay within themselves. They don't maybe even try to learn the language, some of them. Do you think that could be a problem if they're kind of just segregating away and not integrating into American culture?
It could be a problem, but I think it's just going to take some time because it's a completely different culture. It's a huge culture shock to come up from over there to over here because we have got different values and mindset here in America, like most Americans do, especially born and raised here. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just so new for our generation to see like how much migration has blown up over our lifetime. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be kind of, I don't know, we'll just have to see kind of where it goes in the next 10, 20 years. But as of now, I think it's still too fresh to say.
I think the word you're looking for is integrate, right? You have to integrate into culture, not assimilate, because I think assimilation would mean you bring in parts and bits of your culture, which, like you said, you don't have to lose it, but it is America, right? There is American culture. Who do you think is more likely to assimilate? Let's use South African, the Afrikaners, for example, or the Hindus from India. Who's more likely to assimilate to America?
Absolutely, South African Afrikaners will integrate and assimilate, the way I see it, a lot better. Mm-hmm. And firstly, there's a lot of cultural similarities and obviously a very strong religious Christian ethos, which is really important. I think it's really difficult to come not just cross-culturally, but also to, live amongst people of different religions.
How many people do the Indians usually come with? Because I know you guys are very like family-oriented, family-centered. I know a lot of you guys live with like your grandmas or your aunts. They just come in a big family. How many of them usually live together?
I don't know. Maybe it's usually a pack of 4.
Like 4?
But back home in India, I think that pack would be a lot bigger.
And when the Indians make money from their jobs here, do they usually keep it, spend it, contribute to the economy here, or do they help out their families back in India?
I mean, I'm sure there is a component of it where you spend the money here to make sure that you have a livelihood over here.
Yeah.
And you're able to sustain your family. But also there is, no matter how much one tries to deny it, there is going to be a component where you want to take care of your family back home.
Yeah.
So a portion of it does go out the country, but a lot of the things like folks, if they are coming here with families, parents are going to have kids enrolled into daycares and things like that. So that's some sort of contribution. I can talk about myself. I want my kids to have a good upbringing. We are more academically focused. So places like Kumon or Mathnasium, these are places where we enroll our kids into so that they have a better education, they have a well-rounded personality of sorts. So that's again some sort of investment that goes out into businesses around here.
If they stay isolated and they're not even trying to, how will they ever learn, American culture if they're not trying to?
Yeah, I think that's just a tricky situation, right? Because if let's say we were to go move to a different country, you kind of have to be forced to learn, especially if you go to Germany, you're going to have to learn German, or you're going to be shunned outside of the culture. I think it could be the same way. If you don't come here and at least try to learn English and mingle with other societies, it could be a burden.
Yeah, why do you think people treat America as the exception, where everyone can come here, they don't have to integrate into American culture? There is no American culture. They stay in their own communities, they build their own temples, their restaurants, whatever it might be. And it's not only Indians, it's like I said, the Muslims, they're building their own mosque. They're trying to literally build their own city, which if any other culture tried to do, that'd be automatically racist, you're
That's
discriminating.
how I kind of felt when I saw that a couple years ago come up on my, LinkedIn. I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy, And I asked around to see if it was actually real, and it was real. I was like, okay, so I don't think that should fly for any culture, for any religion.
Why do you think people are so scared to admit that? You admitted it off the bat, you said there's demographic change, but a lot of people, they try to stay blind to whatever race, to different cultures. Why do you think that is?
I think they just don't offend people, but, I think people need to, it's a great country, it's an awesome country, everyone wants to live here, but there's requirements if you come over. You have to fit in. You can't bring whatever you don't like from your country, bring it in here and try and make America like India or wherever else you're coming from. And we respect that. I think it's easier transition for South Africans because there's a lot of similarities, but still there'll be cultural changes and adaptations that you need to make.
Has it been hard culturally to get used to America compared to India, and religiously?
There are challenges, because you don't have a lot of folks like us around here. I am an atheist, so I don't believe in religion as much, but I know there are a lot who do. And for them, that is the anchoring factor in community or wherever they live or wherever they reside, in whatever place they call home. Maybe it wasn't as challenging for me, but for others, it could be a crucial factor. So it maybe makes the community a whole.
You think most Indians, maybe the more recent ones, you came 10 years ago, so that's kind of a while, but some of the more recent ones within the past 3 years, do you think they're integrating into society? Or like you said, they're kind of staying to themselves, going to their own schools, maybe not trying to learn the American culture? Do you think that's a problem at all?
Well, it's going to be the Darwin's theory. It's going to be the survival of the fittest sort of a thing. The more you're able to blend in, the more you're able to live and thrive in the community and the society you're around. The more you are able to adapt, the more you'll probably feel part of the society. And the folks who don't eventually may have a shorter tenure here. They eventually feel homesick, they eventually feel left out in whatever way or form, and may not be here that long.
Do you think they feel homesick if they have their own temple, or they have all their neighbors are Indian, they go to the Indian restaurant down the street? Do you think they feel homesick, or they're kind of building a new home here that is separate from almost American society, but then they have 8 kids or 10 kids. They have a lot of children because your guys' birth rates are very high, whereas the rest of America is pretty low. So don't you think they're kind of almost making a new home here?
Well, I don't think so. The birth rates are that different. In fact, if I were to look at folks around here, there are personally, I know of families, at least living in this neighborhood, where the household is much bigger for an American family than compared to an Indian family, because you have only so much means, and then things are a lot more expensive. So one cannot necessarily afford to have a much bigger family here.
What are you, like 25, 30?
21.
21? You look much older.
Well, thanks, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a pro, right? Yeah. I just turned 30, and so I'm still trying to figure out my life, and I'm not too out there in the community. I don't go out to do too much things. So I kind of feel like I'm an American that's also doing that. I'm not going out there to be a part of the community as much as I should. So I think, especially coming from like outside, if you're only involved with, like let's for Indians as an example, you're constantly associated with like their culture, and if you bring that culture here, like a lot of people are kind of upset with that. You know? But I think it's a beautiful thing that they want to be a part of their still culture and bring it over here, as long as like you try to blend the two, like blend it into American society instead of just like, I'm not even going to do anything to do with American, but I'm going to come here anyway.
Do you think there's some sort of agenda being pushed onto American or even European countries or Australian countries to change their demographics and to make people ashamed of their culture? And if there is an agenda, who do you think is pushing it?
Yeah, there's absolutely an agenda. And I think just radical left politicians have an agenda, and I think they do push it. I think certain religious aspects also, I think a very strong Muslim influence definitely pushes in certain directions, not maybe exactly the same, but I think there's a strong world agenda, not just in America, but probably more so in Europe, but very strong here as well.
What was your other question? Whether they are building a new home here.
Do you feel like they're trying to integrate into American culture, most Indians that are coming here nowadays?
Bottom line, yes.
You think they are?
Bottom line.
Okay.
But like I was talking a little while ago, right? There are certain aspects like, if you liked, say for example, football, would you not want to associate yourself when you grew up when you went to school to a school that had a good football team? So those things gravitate towards, one gravitate towards the things that you find interesting in some way or form. So over the last 10 years, that the time that I have spent here, maybe folks that set up a few things, try to make this place home for themselves, is now attracting more people, because now one doesn't have to go about going to a place and then trying to set it up as home, because now here there are already some sort of infrastructure or home-like feeling maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why the last 3 years you see more people around here.
But don't you think there's a certain point where you're trying to blend in so many different cultures that it turns into literally nothing?
Yeah, I think it's like you were saying earlier. It's like why is America like the exception? I think it comes down from like history. Like it's the melting pot. Everybody's here to like be one culture.
You know who coined that term?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
It was a Jewish guy who was against America and was trying to literally subvert it. Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah.
It is crazy. You obviously wanted to move to America for a reason, right? And if different people come to America and bring their culture and they don't assimilate and they try to make it like home, like you said, from a place that they fled, wouldn't that fundamentally change the country and kind of ruin it if they don't integrate into the culture and what made the country so great? What made someone like you move here, or me, or my parents move here, or anyone else move here?
Well, that's a much bigger question that only time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
We got done with the interview. Very assimilated, I would say, more than most.
Well, yeah, more than most, sure. But how much can they really? How much can they really assimilate? I mean, like realistically, look, he still has such a strong accent for being here, 10 years.
That's never going to change, right?
I mean, it definitely can change.
What would you want him to do?
No, fair enough. He's assimilated. And I grew up actually next to an Indian in Chicago, and his family, I guess they assimilated for the most part. but there's still something there that they can't fully assimilate.
Right.
It's because
Well, he's
we're fundamentally
obviously loyal.
different.
He's like, well, it's like good that they're making a home, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You just proved my point. At the end of the day, they'll still always be loyal to their homeland, and that's the fucking problem. When push comes to shove, they'll pick India over the U.S. And most white Americans, they're not going to do that.
I would never do that.
For someone like yourself, I mean, you've been here for 16 generations. It's like you're so far detached from that. And I guess you could make that example here. You're like, oh, in 10 generations they will, but it's like,
No,
not really.
I would never make that argument with Indians because, you know, he's got like basically an inherent, he's an atheist. So that's like his solution. His solution is become liberal. Like that's everyone's solution to becoming American is becoming liberal. Being liberal is not being American. That's the way that we justify everyone being allowed to be American, right? Being American is actually having a staunch culture and changing your culture to be American. If he was like wearing all American flags and wearing a hat, you know, whatever, like, okay, that's a little different. If he's eating hot dogs at Costco, sure, you know, whatever. If he was Christian, went to church, you know, paid taxes, if he became American without essentially taking from us and actually contributed, I think that's the only way that you could justify them even being here in the first place. That's the bare minimum.
Yeah, another thing he said that kind of threw me off is like, oh yeah, obviously partially you're going to send back home to your family, which
Right.
There's nothing wrong with helping your family, but it's like you're making the money here, you're using this country to your advantage, and then you're helping this third world nation, India, where they already have 1.5. Let's ask something. Hey, we're filming like a little documentary. Would you mind answering a few quick questions for a video? Okay. See, all of them don't want to fucking talk, right? So the only guy who wanted to talk with us was here for 10 years, and you could say he was, I guess, slightly assimilated, but it's like they're scared, and they want to stay to themselves. They don't want anything to do with America. They just use it as a plot of land and a fucking place they can milk money on.
Yeah.
That's literally all it is for them. And it's like, I don't know what argument you can make. Like, there's literally no fucking argument. Even the guy who's lived here for 10 fucking years.
Yeah, he didn't care about Epic City. He doesn't care about any of that stuff. He doesn't care about the Muslims.
Well, they don't care. They don't.
Even if he did care about the Muslims, more or less, they're just going to care because they're Hindu or whatever. Like, the only reason he doesn't care is because he's atheist.
Could I find you guys on YouTube?
Yeah, Hermes did it again.
Hermes did it again. Okay, I'm
Yes,
gonna have
sir.
to write that down out there.
Appreciate it.
What's your name?
Hermes.
Hermes. Oh, it's Hermes. What's